The kingdom of God is near. Turn from your ways, turn from your sin, and turn to God for forgiveness. Dying to ourselves is probably the hardest thing to do. Dying to our fleshly desires, dying to what I want to do. I was having a conversation with my buddies the other day. I went and visited some old friends I hadn't seen in a while. And this conversation came up. We started talking about God. We started talking about beliefs. And, they asked me, and, I spoke how I felt. I spoke the truth, and I spoke about dying to myself and how hard it is for me to accept that and to lean into that and say, you know what? I'm going to pick up my cross and crucify my flesh every day, die to my selfish desires, died to the addictions that I struggled with for a long time because I couldn't give the things up because my flesh loved them, because I loved indulging in these things. I love the feeling they brought. I love the adrenaline, the euphoria, the feeling these things gave me. And it was hard to walk away. It was hard to say I'm not going to do those things anymore. I'm not going to indulge in those things anymore. I'm going to die to those things. I'm going to die to the old me. And, being with these friends, with them, smoking was a big thing. Drinking was a big thing. And, they're all smoking, they're all drinking, passing the blunts, passing the beers. And again, dying to my fleshly desires, dying to the temptation that pulled me and just said, just hit it one time. Just one time so you could relax your mind, relax yourself. Just drink a beer or two. Just, take a shot or two just to relax, to take the edge off. Temptation, again, getting to me. But, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. And I was talking to my buddy of mine, and, like I told him, how it's not easy to die to myself. It's not easy to crucify my flesh. It's not easy to say no to a beautiful woman who's talking all kinds of stuff and is like, what's good? If a girl's like just telling you what's good, most men, it's gonna be hard for you to walk away and say, you know what, it's bad. It's bad. I can't. I'm married, or I have a girlfriend, or I'm in a relationship, whatever the case may be. Most men, the opportunity comes up, and we're jumping on it. It's like, what's good? And like I was telling him, he's a single guy, so he's living life. He's enjoying life. He's having fun. He's living in the world. But at the end of the day, he feels guilt. He feels resentment. He feels like, he carries a lot of guilt and shame. And like he said, he enjoys it. It's fun and all these different women, but it's not fulfilling. It's not giving him the peace and what he's looking for in life. And it's hard. It's hard. Like I told him, it's hard to die to the flesh. It's hard to crucify the flesh. It's hard to pick up our cross and follow Christ. It's hard to die again, to die to myself. That's the biggest thing he calls us to do. Salvation is free. It costs us nothing. But at the same time, it costs us everything. We have to give up everything we love and enjoy and everything the flesh loves. I don't want to say everything we love, but everything that the flesh loves to do and indulge in and be part of, we have to die to most of it. And it's hard to say no to things that the flesh loves. And it's part of the walk, our walk with God. As part of everybody's individual walk is different. Everybody's sin is different. Everybody's addictions are different. And everybody has to die to different things. For me, it was one or two things. For you, maybe two different things. But we all have something that we need to die to. We all have something that we need to crucify and say, you know what, I need to walk away from this sin. I know this is bad for me. I know it's bad for my body. I know it's bad for my family. But I choose to do it because I enjoy it. And dying to that's not going to be easy, but it's going to be the way for me to find freedom. It's going to be the way for me to find true peace. And it's going to be the way for me to find life. You'll find your life when you lay it down. You'll find true peace when you surrender yourself and say, you know what? Take me, God. Use me for your glory. Use me for your kingdom. So, dying to ourselves. Most of us don't want to hear this. Most of us don't. It's hard to swallow this pill, but at the end of the day, that's what God calls us to do. To die to the flesh, to crucify the flesh, to pick up our cross and be ready to crucify ourselves, to crucify that flesh every time we're tempted by drugs, money, women, food, drinks, you name it. There's a lot of temptations out there, and for all of us, they're different. But we have to be willing to say no, and we have to be willing to say, lean into God's Spirit. Say, Father, help me because my flesh is weak. Help me because my flesh is going to fall. And I'm going to fall short again, Lord. because I just don't have enough self-control to walk away from this. I don't have enough self-control to say no to this, and I am about to fall right now. And again, reaching to him, calling his name and saying, Father, help me. And it's a beautiful thing when you find that relationship with God. It's a beautiful thing when you lean into him and you feel his spirit. And again, finding peace. Find that peace that only he can give you. Find that peace that you can only find in him.